Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're looking at video game enemies that rack up more player deaths than any others. But we won't be including any boss fights.
You gotta be kidding me.
This video is brought to you by VRising. Awaken from your slumber and reclaim your power in blood. Experience a vampire survival action RPG adventure in a dark fantasy realm where humans, monsters, and sunlight are an ever-present danger. Build your gothic castle, craft a coffin, and reign supreme. Hunt alone or form a clan of vampires in co-op. Defy Dracula and conquer the night. VRising is out now on Steam, and the PlayStation 5 version is just around the corner. Check the links in the description below. Giants, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Trying to take on something way more powerful than you are and paying the price is part of the Skyrim experience. And even though fire-breathing dragons exist in this world, there's something especially brutal about the giants. They won't attack unless you get close, but you better have the gear and abilities to do so. They've got a few attacks, but the most problematic is a one-shot club hit that will send your corpse skyrocketing into the sky. Hilarious? Yes, but that doesn't change the fact that these behemoths have racked up quite the body count. Chrysalids XCOM 2. While these enemies were in the first game, they were made so much worse the second time around. Players control their military might against an invading alien force. Naturally, the enemy type that can make more of them is one of the biggest hassles. Chrysalids can infect organic material, meaning either civilians or your team, creating a cocoon that could spawn up to 3 more of them. They're also known for their quick speed, as well as ability to burrow underground and leap huge distances. They aren't the most durable enemy type, but they sure will take a lot of your troops down with them if you aren't careful. Seekers, Celeste. Although it's one of the only enemies in Celeste, the Seeker is designed to kill you instantly. These one-eyed monsters are found in only one level, but they charge toward Madeline as soon as they look at her, with overwhelming speed and ferocity. On top of the instant kill on contact, hopping on their heads only puts them down for a moment before they're back up. You can only kill them by crushing them with the environment, a rare occurrence, and they can sometimes be found in pairs. They're usually in a room that requires some puzzle solving and fine-tuned platforming, which is a lot harder when you have an almost indestructible monster flying at your face. Big Daddies, BioShock.
It's time to take on one of them big daddies. It won't be easy, but it's the only way to get the little sisters and the Adam they carry.
There's a lot about BioShock that led to its iconicism, the poster boy Big Daddy being one of them. These guys are solely designed, both by real-world creators and their fictional ones, to be tanky bullet sponges that barrel at you like a freight train. They were genetically modified to be ultra-powerful and conditioned to protect little sisters to the death. As an added bonus, Big Daddies are also introduced to players before any of them have the necessary abilities and gear to take one on. And there are untold number of us that were lured into early deaths. Boss Bass, Super Mario Bros. 3. Normally, when you're hitting a 2D Mario game, you lose your power-up, but not with the Boss Bass. Found on a handful of levels in Super Mario Bros. 3, the overgrown Cheep Cheep leaps out of the water to swallow Mario and Luigi whole, no matter if they're small or not. Only a power-up can kill it, as jumping on its head does nothing. But even when you do kill it, it's only a few seconds of peace before it's replaced by another. The levels that Boss Bass appears on became nightmares for a lot of us, as there was a constant threat of being forced to start them over instantly. Rage Ghosts, Pirates of the Caribbean Online. Pirates of the Caribbean Online offered the same sense of adventure as the film franchise, but when it comes to rage ghosts, the word that best summed up the experience was dread. Found in Raven's Cove and the result of horrific murders, these angry spirits could sense players out and would not hesitate to hunt them down. Not only does their attack instantly kill any player, but they also heal by dealing damage. The only way to deal with them was to freeze them, which could only be done with specific legendary weapons. Naturally, no one approached these things alone, if at all, because they usually resulted in immediate death. Tyrannosaurus Rex, Tomb Raider series. Well, shouldn't come as a surprise that the mighty T-Rex is a deadly enemy. Lara Croft's fights against these dinos are now some of the most memorable moments in the original Tomb Raider games. In every encounter, they stomp about, dealing heavy damage to the adventurer by touch should she get too close, which happens frequently. At least we get some distance with our guns, but it isn't as if the T-Rexes stay back. Even still, their bite attack is most troublesome, as it means an instant death for Lara. Their aggressive nature and ability to eviscerate us naturally racked up a lot of player deaths back in the day. Guardians, the Legend of Zelda series. There are different types of Guardians in the Zelda series, but they are all bloodthirsty. In Skyward Sword, Link can enter the Silent Realms, challenges where he must collect sacred tears. Making that harder are Guardians, which, when active, can tell exactly where Link is, can knock him out of the realm in one hit, and have no way to be hurt themselves. The Guardians in Breath of the Wild are far more varied and volatile. Whether it's the oppressive Guardian Stalkers or the annoying Guardian Skywatchers, these machines are adept at dealing death to players before they have the resources and skills to take them on. Both versions of Guardians are intimidating, to say the least. Mimics, Dark Souls series. Mimics are classic D&D enemies, taking on the form of enticing treasure to lure in unsuspecting adventurers before taking a bite out of them. Many video games have featured their own versions, including Dark Souls. And, completely unsurprising of From Software, the studio made its version a lot harder than normal. Like traditional mimics, these disguise themselves as chests. But, should you try to open one, it's almost guaranteed you'll die instantly once it starts chomping on you. There's only a small detail, the shape of the chain on its side, to tell you it's a fake, so each one naturally kills you every time on a first playthrough. Banshees, Mass Effect 3. Like many other deadly enemies on our list, the Banshees of Mass Effect 3 also have the ability to one-shot the player. But they also have a lot of other features that makes facing them a fairly big challenge. While their speed is a bit slow, that doesn't matter when they can easily teleport wherever they need to get to. They're also usually leading a team and have several moves that can open you up for attacks from its friends. A Banshee's screech can stagger you and knock you out from cover, and it has both a melee and projectile attack that will completely destroy your shield.
We're not your slaves.
Bile Titans, Helldivers 2. Most of the enemies of Helldivers 2 are pretty deadly. They show up in groups to all stomp your face in. But when it comes to which feels the deadliest, we have to give it to the Bile Titans. These gigantic bugs spew acidic bile in a huge fountain towards you. Despite their size, they're surprisingly good at catching you off guard to do this, as the Bile Titans never travel alone. Unless this attack happens to graze you while you're diving out of the way, contact with this bile is essentially a guaranteed need to respawn. Even if it doesn't kill you, it's likely you'll soon go down from one of the other vicious bugs swarming you at the same time.
Another step towards galactic liberation. You may extract when ready.
Deathclaws, Fallout series. It's always nice when an enemy's name doesn't beat around the bush. Deathclaws can vary in power depending on the Fallout game, but at their deadliest, they should only be approached when well equipped and even still with extreme caution. These beasts were genetically modified by the US government for search and destroy missions. The resources clearly didn't go to waste. Deathclaws are very durable, able to soak up a lot of damage as they're lunging toward you. They're also quite fast, so it's best to keep your distance during each encounter. The Witch, Left 4 Dead series. Even in a series with bullet sponges, tanks, and bile-spitting boomers, the Witch is the most vicious. Though she seems like a scared, crying child from afar, once you get near her, this special infected unleashes a fury unlike anything else Left 4 Dead offers. She takes a stunning amount of firepower to go down, and can instantly knock a player to the ground, where she proceeds to pummel them relentlessly. Her ability to instantly down a teammate is formidable. But God help you should that happen while you're dealing with the surrounding horde and other special infected. If possible, it's best just to sneak around the Witch to avoid the trouble.
There's gonna be hell to pay you keep aggravating that witch.
Tonberries, Final Fantasy series. In a complete disconnect between design and bloodlust, the Tonberries of Final Fantasy should not be underestimated. They've appeared in many games across the series, always with their deceptively sharp knife in tow. Their chef's knife attack deals a ridiculous amount of damage and can instantly kill a party member. They also have the ability to counter, with damage dependent on how many enemies they've killed. Unsurprisingly, that type of counter with an instant kill attack is a pretty annoying combo. Their health is also surprisingly high, making them an all-around pain to deal with.
Ow!
Berserkers, Gears of War series. The world of shooters is full of battle-heavy brutes that suck up resources and can demolish you in a matter of moments. In the Gears of War series, that title belongs to the Berserkers. These female variants of the Locust drones have heightened smell and hearing due to being blind. They don't need sight to deal with an enemy though. They can tell where you are, and their extreme strength and durability means they can get to that location with little issue. Fire is the only thing that can really slow them down, so you can deal more damage at once. Even still, Berserkers don't go down without a huge fight. E.M.M.I, Metroid Dread. Samus has had to deal with a lot of deadly enemies in her time as a galactic bounty hunter, but when it comes to sheer death count, the E.M.M.I can't be topped. Designed by the Galactic Federation, these machines were corrupted while pursuing a dangerous parasite on the planet CDR. While Samus has to visit specific locations in order to destroy them, they use pristine precision and skill to eliminate her. If one of them catches her, you have a minuscule window to break free. Otherwise, it's an immediate demise for Samus. They also grow progressively harder to deal with each time. While they gain new abilities, their environments get more complex to navigate. Brutes, Dead Space series. considering necromorphs are some of the most brutal enemies in gaming, multiple variants could go on a list like this. While we considered the Hunter, given its tendency to regenerate upon death and pursue Isaac without relent, it's almost in boss or mini-boss territory. The Brutes, on the other hand, are just the type of resource-draining enemies to push you straight into a corner and pound you into the dirt. It's got heavy defense up front and is really good at keeping you on that side. It's quick for its size, and it's entirely probable you'll run around panicking about what to do during your first few attempts at fighting one. Dr. Salvador, Resident Evil 4. Also known simply as the Chainsaw Man, Dr. Salvador played a huge role in making the opening to Resident Evil 4 as well known as it is. We were busy dealing with a mob of angry infected Spanish villagers when all of a sudden, a madman wielding a chainsaw with a bag on his head ripped his way into gaming history. As an early unique enemy type, Dr. Salvador takes a lot more bullets to go down than the other villagers. As an instant kill enemy, we don't need to tell you what happens when he reaches Leon Kennedy. The Mercenaries mode also includes a stronger version of him with a double-bladed chainsaw, a bit more health, and a larger stature. Bloaters, The Last of Us series. Although your first encounter with a bloater is like a boss fight, you later fight them among groups of infected. Regardless, bloaters are not to be taken lightly by the inexperienced. Given the host has been infected by the cordyceps fungus for years, bloaters have thick, armor-like plating that make them tough to kill. They can also tear bits of their plating off and hurl it like spore grenades. More importantly, just like the less durable clickers, they also have the ability to instantly kill you as soon as they grab you. And it's not a pretty way to go. You can get used to the other infected, but bloaters always induce stress when they appear. Shark Giants, Bloodborne. When From Software released the Old Hunters DLC for Bloodborne, it gave players foes even more formidable than what they had already faced. Among them were the Shark Giants, powerful behemoths that could easily swallow up death after death. We mean that literally, as Shark Giants have a grab attack that if you're unlucky enough to be caught by, will end with you being swallowed whole. Other than that, they have a slide attack that can easily close the distance between you. And any of their regular attacks will drain your health pool, while their own is ridiculously large. From Software have clearly built a legacy on high difficulty. Outside of their bosses, the Shark Giants just may be their most impressive. What video game enemy caused you the most deaths? Let us know down in the comments.
It's alright. I know I'll be an angel soon.
This video is brought to you by VRising, out now on Steam. The PlayStation 5 version is just around the corner. Check the links in the description below.